No king's protests. Voices out in the streets, but silence within the truth. And the key word is within the truth. So, no king protest, huh? How'd that work out for you?
If protesting isn't changing anything, then we need to stop participating in the system entirely.
If there were no arrests, then it was not a protest. It was a parade. Because real protests make people in power uncomfortable.
Black people are asking, okay, the No Kings protest happened. What's the next step? What was the impact? What changed? Did we wake up in the morning and hear any news of anything that changed?
No king protest, huh? How'd that work out for you? Really? How did it? Tell me. You got together with your signs, your chants, and your strange-ass costumes, filling the streets, blocking traffic, making it harder for working-class men and women who keep this country moving. Out there playing make-believe in the middle of the roadway, while real folks are living life in the real world. You stood out there shouting for hours. For what and because of what? But get this, let me tell you something. This morning, the sun rose and nothing, absolutely nothing changed. That's correct. But let me tell you this, the world kept turning, the jobs keep calling, and this nation, that's right, our country, still strong, still standing. And another thing, our commander-in-chief, President Donald J. Trump, yeah, that man, he is still our president, regardless of what you say and what you do. See, the truth doesn't bend to noise, and power doesn't come from temper tantrums in the streets. It comes from faith, from duty, and honor. And as for me, the only king I bow down to is my Lord and Savior up above. So take your signs home, take your noise with you, because when it's all said and done, the real Americans keep working, keep praying, and we keep believing, because this is our country and we stand with our president, Donald J. Trump. Now, if you like this message, repost it, give me a follow, and leave me a comment, especially if you're a crazy liberal. I would love to hear from you.
I'm genuinely trying to understand, now that we've had the No Kings protest, what is happening? All them people that showed up and then Trump turned around and say, haha, that's funny, with an AI meme. And low-key, I'm laughing because it was funny, because like, what now? He don't care. He is so unserious. He don't care. Like, I'm reading the comments and they're like, well, can you organize that many people? For what? Why would I want to organize people like that and still have nothing to show for it? People came out. It was a nice event. Very peaceful. You know, some got a little rowdy, but for what? Thank God nobody died, because there would have been nothing to die for. Like, what are the demands? I'm all in support of it, you know, and I don't know if it's just so people can realize we don't like him, but the government's still shut down. He's still in office. There's no impeachment. There's nothing. I don't even see people on, like, there's no, like, clips, and it may not be on my FYP, but usually there's clips of speakers, you know, really saying this is what we want. And I'm like, am I missing something? If I am, please put it on my FYP. Because I don't know. This is why black people are like, you think we will risk our lives or something like this? And then we don't have anything to show for it? Please help me if I'm wrong, y'all. You know what would have been good? Get up there, have all them people, and we talk about how everybody's changing them taxes to exempt. How about everybody changing them taxes to exempt for a pay period? How would we do that? One pay period. You can catch up on the next one if you really are panicked, but let's see the effect of that. You know? Start there. All of that stuff that we did, or not we, But people showed up for Jimmy Kimmel. People showed up for Jimmy Kimmel. People showed up for Target. But y'all can't seem to get y'all mind around how to show up and make the government feel this, make these people feel this. It's giving performative. We just want a reason to be outside. Because what is happening?
If there were no arrests, then it was not a protest. It was a parade. Because real protests make people in power uncomfortable. They shake the systems, they disrupt business as usual, and they challenge authorities so hard that they send in cops. They send in cameras and chaos to shut it down. So when white America brags that their protest was peaceful, what they're really saying is, we didn't threaten anything. And they're right. They didn't threaten power, they didn't threaten profit, and they certainly didn't threaten the status quo. Meanwhile, when black folks protest, indigenous people protest, and marginalized people protest, law enforcement rains down like a goddamn hammer. It's we need law and order, we need law and order. Why? Because we're not begging for permission. We are demanding change. And that's the difference. So let's not confuse comfort with progress. And let's also not confuse a crowd for a movement. Because if people in power are not threatening to arrest you, then you're not protesting. You're performing. One day, for a few hours, where's the sustainability? Where's the threat?
So I'm starting to see a conversation be had online where people are arguing that the No Kings protests basically didn't do shit. And this is, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about it coming from the right or coming from MAGA. This is coming from some leftists and some liberal creators I saw on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Where they felt like, you know, true protesting, true, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's not about, you know, singing, dancing, and selling T-shirts, where they allege that the No Kings protest was doing across the country, and basically saying it ain't compared to the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020, right? And I say this, the No Kings protests, they did something better than nothing. I'm not going to sit here and hate on a bunch of people who got up off their ass and tried to make change. Whether we like the way they did it or not, they tried. At least they got up off their ass and they tried. And a lot of people who had these takes on the internet were not on their twos protesting. They were bitching and complaining from the phone. So it's like, okay, if the No Kings protest wasn't a real protest, then how do we go about it the next time? What do we do? What do we do? We run the fade with ICE officers? I don't mind running the fade with an ICE officer. I mean, I can't fight, but I know how to bite. I know how to scratch. I'll clip the shit out of one of them. But if that's the way, then what else? There's got to be a what else, right? I don't know. This whole conversation is just confusing to me.
If protesting isn't changing anything, then we need to stop participating in the system entirely. That's my whole thing. Like, I understand the protest and, like, basically, you know, standing against the system. I understand that. But, like, if nothing is changing past that point, like, and shit just continues to be the same, I feel like we have to do something else. And what I'm recommending is everyone just stop participating in the system entirely. I genuinely believe that is the only way that there's going to be a major shift or a major change. Like, and the protesting, I really do understand. Like, it is, you know, nice to have a voice and basically protest against the things that you're not liking, right? But, like, if that's not changing anything, then we need to literally just stop participating in this system. Like, fully, like, no work, no, like, buying from these corporations, no nothing. Like, it just has to get to that point eventually. You know what I mean? Like, that seems to be the only way through, because once we start affecting the billionaires' money, which is why I feel like all of this shit is going on, like, once we start affecting their money, then I feel like they're going to have to start to change things, because, again, they're going to want their money. They're going to want money no matter what. And I feel like we're doing all these protests, and, like, throughout history, like, things do change with protests, but, like, at some point, we have to stop participating in this system. Like, I feel like even protesting and then being given something to basically put us back into the system isn't worth it. Like, we just need to fully stop participating in this system entirely, because I genuinely feel like they will just keep going as long as they're making money and, maintaining their billionaire status. I genuinely feel like it's just going to keep continuing. So we would have to literally stop participating all together in capitalism and the whole system and all of it, genuinely.
We know DJT got scared in the beginning. Okay, and then what? I love these questions. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section, because this time around, Black people were like, we will join in. A lot of Black people joined in actually. They're like, okay, this looks like something we can join in. And people actually came and held hands together. We had Black celebrities there. We had white celebrities there. It looked like something a lot of people, the entire America, was interested in. But then after it's done, the whites are like, we did it. Asians are like, we did it. The immigrants are like, yes, we did it. Black Americans are asking, what has it changed? Because if there is no change done from the following day, then we did nothing. Then there was no impact. And I want you guys to tell me in the comment section, what do you think changed after the No Kings protest? Do you feel like there was an impact? And if you felt like it did something, yes, it was the biggest protest in the United States, apparently 7 million people and above. What do you think it did? Did it change something? I find this question very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because we have seen so many protests happen. And normally, if it is successful, a lot of things change. See, one person came out and said, if protests happened, no person was arrested. Police was unfazed. Everybody just came on the streets and there was no commotion. Not that they wanted a violent protest, but the fact that it was so peaceful, no one was scared of it. Or is it something people are going to have to sit and wait for a change to come?
Isn't it crazy to think that the very same people who masked us and isolated us and locked us in our homes and made us mask our children and tried to force an experimental medication on us and shut down small businesses and made our family members die alone in the hospital and prosecuted their political opponents and totally circumvented the democratic process by installing a presidential candidate, those same people have convinced people to go to No Kings protests because the president has the audacity to use resources that are at his disposal in order to clean up our crime-ridden streets. And we're falling for it. And the crazy thing is, if I'm being totally honest, if COVID hadn't happened and woken me up, I would have fallen for it too, because I was completely at the mercy of the manipulation, the emotional manipulation and the gaslighting of the Democrat Party. I was like Pavlov's dog. You could scream racist, fascist, dismantling our Constitution, and I would lose every ounce of common sense would leave my brain. And so I can't be mad at people who were spending their precious currency of time protesting No Kings when we clearly had an authoritarian dictatorship that was ruling our lives for years. I can't be mad at them because I probably would have fallen for it too, but it is wild to watch. And I feel like people don't realize why I do this. I don't do this and share my experience leaving the left because of likes or because I want to be accepted by a certain group of people or because I want followers. I do it because leaving the left has been the most liberating experience of my life. I feel like I have woken up from a coma. I feel like I have woken up from a state of rage and constant discomfort and finger pointing and blame and just being angry at whatever they told me to be angry about. And being on the other side, I did not join a perfect party, but I did join a party that I'm able to criticize. I'm able to talk about what I don't like about this administration and still be welcomed into a party that has like discourse, that is able to debate, that is able to have flexibility and nuance of belief. And I wish that more people could feel that. And I just wish that people would look at what the Democrat Party is doing to us with more skepticism and really with more common sense to recognize that you're being manipulated. And if you actually leave this very toxic and very terrible relationship, I bet you'll be happier too.